Well, actually, I was selling somebody some crack, and I was serving somebody some crack.
Now, what happened to real G's moving silence like lasagna? Shout out to Wayne, by the way, but what happened to that? You've seen the title though, and you've also seen a little snippet of what self-snitching might look like in real time. And 45 years, that's how much time a Philly rapper by the name of AR-Rab will be serving. So yeah. Let's talk about it. Now, sometimes I wonder, is it really worth it? Is it really worth putting all your dirt out to the world so openly? I say no, but Philly rapper AR-Rab probably, or actually for sure, disagrees. He got sentenced to 45 years in prison the other day for being the leader of a drug organization. Abdul West, professionally known as AR-Rab, turned his record label, Original Block Hustlers, to a violent drug trafficking organization that also ended up being connected to the slaying of a man. Philly rap star AR-Rab sentenced to 45 years for running a drug ring implicated in murder. A federal judge sentenced the 38-year-old rapper, whose legal name is Abdul West, to 45 years in prison, a staggering sentence for the tough-talking kingpin convicted in 2019 of running the record label he founded, Original Block Hustlers, OBH, into a large-scale North Philadelphia drug trafficking organization implicated in at least one murder. As you could clearly see from that interview snippet I showed you earlier, AR-Rab was not one to move in silence. This guy was pretty known for openly speaking about the crimes he's done with no filter. The Department of Justice released a little piece the other day describing the nature of AR-Rab's crimes, and this is what it says. Between at least March 2017 through June 2018, OBH poisoned the Philadelphia community by importing dangerous narcotics, including large quantities of methamphetamine, shout out to Walter White, and cocaine, from Cali to Philly, and then selling those drugs in the Philadelphia area. To further their drug business, OBH employed fear, intimidation, and violence. West was the driving force behind the violent character of OBH and routinely posted rap videos and other messages on social media in which he communicated threats of violence and which demonstrated his power and authority within the organization. According to court documents, West ordered a member of the organization to murder a former member of the group identified as RJ because West believed RJ was involved with West's enemy and was playing both sides of the fence. RJ was ultimately shot dead multiple times and died. RJ stands for Robert Johnson, and he was gunned down after AR-Rab allegedly ordered a hit on him. Dantes Taz Stewart, who was a member of AR-Rab's crew, ultimately ended up pleading guilty to the slaying, and he later testified against AR-Rab in court. Now, during the investigation of this RJ homicide, the police of course went to AR-Rab's music like they do with all rappers, and on a song of his that dropped in 2017, he said, "I'll have the whole city scared, stand near home, I call Taz and tell him bring that nigga's head to me." The police discovered that these lyrics were written 4 days after RJ's homicide, and they discovered that how? Well, through a note in AR-Rab's phone. And then in another song AR-Rab dropped in 2018, he said, "250,000 lost, got a broke heart, and they snatched my dog, that's the worst part. One rat destroy everything you work for, I pray to God he don't tell him who he worked for." Now, apparently the feds had raided one of his stash houses during that time, and that's how the feds decided that these lyrics were relevant to his crimes. Like I said though, 45 years behind bars, man, self-snitching, self-snitching, self-snitching. It's the wave nowadays. And you know what? Let me actually join the self-snitching train. Are you ready? Pulling that coupe at a lot, 12 fuck, that's me. An OG once told me that back in the good old days, people were afraid of bragging about their crimes for obvious reasons. No sane human being wants to end up in a cage for decades to come, right? Pretty self-explanatory. Nowadays though, it's simply what a lot of people do, man. Isn't it crazy? Like I said earlier in the video, AR-Rab was a guy who very openly, and I mean it, very openly bragged about all the things he did in the streets. There's even this interview he did with DJ Vlad where he says this.
Shit, right, well, yeah, I made a lot of money on the streets. I made a lot of money. I made hundreds of thousands of dollars on the streets. Hundreds. You feel what I'm saying?
What can I say, man? When you go to the extent of talking about these things with no filter, you're asking for it. The price for AR-Rab was 45 years. I don't think it was worth it, but hey, he might disagree. But yeah, 45 years behind bars for Philly rapper AR-Rab. He turned his record label into a drug trafficking operation. His organization was, like I also said, connected to the slaying of a man, and that resulted in this. Any thoughts? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this.